Season 4 of Brothers with Voices. Are y'all ready? Yeah, how are you guys feeling? Welcome everybody to another season of Brothers with Voices. I am Taryam Muga, and as usual, I'm joined by my brothers Kudzai, Jane Doro, and Christopher Dutch Mfarinya. What up, guys? How you doing? Welcome back.
What up? What it do?
But I just wanted to correct, like, Dutch is not my middle name. My middle name is Tishakunda.
So, like, I never said it was a middle name. You're Dutch.
You are still Dutch.
Because you said J.
That's okay, fine. I should have said Kudzai J Killer. Yeah, man. How you guys doing, guys? It's been a minute, bro. I'm boy, guys.
Yeah.
What do you say?
I'm boom,
yeah.
I'm in a Chris. What do you say?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a long little stay where I think a lot of things were happening in life. So we had a bit of a sabbatical from recording, but I think we're back. We're back with a bang. We've got some exciting things lined up for everybody. Just changes that have been going on in our lives have been keeping us away from you guys. But it's good to be back. It feels nice to be back. And I think we're back with a bang because, guys, funny kanyaya, guys. It's not even kanyaya. It's something that I feel we need to talk about. And it's when you look at the way we want to go about our commentary, just how we want to do this show nowadays is just, we want to be relevant. So we want to look at things that are affecting people right now. I know over the past 3 seasons, we've been talking about things we want to talk about, anything we feel inclined to talk about, we've been talking about. But now we want to look at things that are affecting people on a day-to-day basis and things that are happening right now, in our society, back at home, in the diaspora, everywhere that we are. So things that are just affecting Zimbabweans everywhere. So something that has been making some serious airwaves right now in Zimbabwe as we speak even is rape culture, and it's something that we really I think when we were discussing this, part of us wanted us to talk about it, not talk about it, how do we talk about it, but it's something that we have spoken about sexual abuse before, we have spoken about sexual assault before, but I think it's important that we now speak about it since it's really current and it's happening right now. So I'm opening it up now, guys. We're going to be talking about rape culture, right? And what it is and what it means and what it's doing and how we should react to it. So I'm going to start it off from there, guys. Like, what do you think about what's been going on in Zim right now? Just off the top from there, either of you. What do you think? What have you heard and how is it making you feel? Let's talk about feelings.
Are we going straight into the feels, bro?
Let's go straight into the feels, bro. How are you feeling about it, bro? Like, yeah.
I feel sad that as a society, I think for long we have accepted certain things as normal, and yet now they're coming to light as rape, and because they were normalized, a lot of people, thought it was normal, right? So because of the name, it's quite sad that during the whole process, a lot of people are being named. Some of them are guilty, some of them are probably not. So I think that's where my confusion then lies.
Okay.
Yeah. There.
Yeah, Chris.
I mean, look, to be very honest, it's sad what has been happening back home, and the most difficult part is that even talking about it right now, and not being there in Zimbabwe, already a lot of people are going to judge us and say, look, but you're not there. How do you understand? You can't date, and all that stuff. But, you see this on Twitter, you see this on Facebook, you see this on Instagram, almost every other day, there's a different story about somebody being raped, right? I won't lie. I feel like some people are guilty. There are actually predatory men out there who are taking advantage of women, and then there's some people who are just being also, what do you call this? What do you call this? What's this word? English is running away.
Where are you? English.
There's some people who are actually being framed, right? In the sense, they actually didn't do it, or maybe they misunderstood the situation, and post the act, they're now being said that they raped the person or whatever the case may be, right? So I'm definitely sad, and I'm really ready to actually have that conversation. Hopefully, in a way, we would be able to clear a couple of things. What is rape? What is not rape? How best can you help yourself when you're in such a situation, right? And how can you survive such instances? And I hope that's where you're going to take the conversation, since it's your conversation.
I got this, player. I got this. All right. So let's first of all, before we dig deeper into the situation, I want us to be categorically heard. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? First things first,
Over
right?
the microphone,
Those diaspora. Anyway. First things first, as I think I haven't even spoken to you guys about this, but we have spoken in previous episodes. As Brothers with Voices, we do not condone any acts of sexual assault or anything. No means no. Let's get things straight. No means no, right? And any form of sexual assault or rape, we will be behind our women and say, no, this is wrong. We are in full support of that this is wrong. And consent is very necessary when you're looking at this. I think we had an episode where we had the Wired to Thrive crew with us, and we're like talking about consent, and consent is necessary, and consent can be taken away. It's retractable and it's necessary. And then also we, as Dutch was saying, we also encourage people to always report any cases of rape or sexual assault, that is, if you are a victim. And we'll get into that later on in the show, ways that you can get help. But yeah, as we're getting into it, looking at some of the tweets that we've been seeing online and everything, first of all, it was the whole list coming out, people talking about this person, that person, and there's one tweet which I read, it was a very simple tweet. Why are the men so quiet? If you're talking about football, people are talking. If you're talking about this, men are talking. But when it comes to this, why are all you men quiet? And yeah, I was taken aback by that, because I wasn't saying anything on Twitter. Not that I'm much of a Twitter person, but still, sometimes if there's soccer on, I'm talking. If there's this on, I'm talking. But when it comes to this, I was quiet. And that question kind of hit me in the face. I was like, why is that? Why are men quiet when it comes to these things, especially this rape culture and everything? I don't know what you guys think about that. Why have we been quiet?
I think the major reason why you find men being very quiet in these instances is because nothing we say is right. This is in consideration of other people, of most people around, right? Whatever we say is not going to be correct. It's not going to be the right thing, right? So at the end of the day, men are going to be like, you know what? Why speak when at the end of the day, whatever I say is going to be said is wrong, right? Next thing I would do, and especially don't forget, Twitter is an abusive space.
This is true.
The moment you respond, you're gonna get backlash left, right, and center. You know what I mean? Especially on sensitive topics, right? I do feel as well that men do need to speak up a little bit more. Hence why I think we even have brothers' voices, right? It's one of the key things that we're trying to encourage, to have men speak up a little bit more. But in most circumstances, man, it's very difficult for somebody to speak up in a situation that they're not in, or that they have not experienced, or they have no knowledge of.
Yeah.
Right. I remember when I saw some of these tweets, it was about Anzu Kumarineta and Nyama, like, Kumarineta, you get a girl drunk and then you sleep with her because she's not drunk, and you feel like you can easily manipulate her and everything like that. Most guys didn't, they were like, look, you always go, you know what I mean? And then it became a whole thing. It was a whole fiasco until ladies were like, does it mean that I want to have sex, right? Doesn't mean that you should rape me because I drank drink, right?
Yeah.
But again, there were now very conflicting sides to this story, that okay, Sake, why are you misleading men? You showing up, you're doing these different things to him, or saying these different things to him, and then you lead him on, and then he has sex with you. Tomorrow was so, but you regret it, and then you're reporting it. Again, it became a whole fight. It was a fight, man.
Yeah.
I think most men don't actually comment, because I don't go to, what, why should I disturb my peace and fight, because obviously as men, we have our own opinion, and women will be throwing in their own opinion as well, right? So it becomes too much of a war at the end of the day, and nobody wants cyber war. It's so annoying, right?
Yeah, I'm with you on Dutch. Before I go to Kudzi, just to add on the marinating thing, I saw a tweet that was saying, yeah, while we're talking about it, marinating is rape, and I was like, okay, this is why I feel a lot of men aren't talking, and why we have this platform is to talk about these things as well. So whatever, but here goes. So why I felt I was quiet in that instance is because there has been times when I'm like, yo, boys Twitter say, all right, let's buy some drinks, let's holler at these girls, let's do what we're doing. This is what it was. This is the culture that it was growing up. That's how we did things. You buy drinks because the girls are coming. It never occurred to me that now is regarded as rape, as in rape culture. Like it's contributing to the culture of rape because you're buying drinks so that people are drunk so that you can have your way or loosen them up, so it says to say. So that for me was a reason why I'd be quiet, because I don't want to just say something, right, in something that I know was okay or deemed to be okay when we were doing it, and then to be told that no, that's actually wrong, and in a real foot with a predator. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be quiet because I'm not a predator. I'm just a predator. So I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to be implicated in these things, So yeah, so that's kind of like how I feel a lot of men are keeping quiet because, like you said, Chris, you can't get anything right. So it's better just to be quiet, You don't want to be implicated and you don't want your name on this list by some, because like you're saying, there's some people who are guilty, but at the same time, you are chilling here in your cabin. Next thing, we want to list because that's the kind of thing that you're thinking when you're a dude, because you don't know. Anyway, Kuzi, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a very, very sensitive topic. That's why some men just keep quiet, and because some people, are very, very vindictive, and some people are actual, victims of rape, like proper forceful, sexual activity type of thing. Chris mentioned something so this is how probably I'm going to paint this picture of, going to, get drinks and girls and we're chilling in one place, and, people end up, people at the party, people are twerking, that's a sexual whatever, right? People are doing whatever, right? And then something leads to another. They sleep together. Tomorrow morning, the guy probably doesn't commit, and the girl is angry, and she's actually probably feeling guilty, feeling very dirty, because it's a one night stand, and Zatopera probably doesn't even remember what happened. My problem is she goes and tells her friend, right? Because she's feeling guilty and she's also feeling dirty about this. She goes and tells the friend. This is probably how, I think it happens, right? Now the friend is the one that now reports this guy without knowing exactly what happened.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a name is in the streets now. Kuti, I'm speaking for someone. I know this is what happened and stuff without facts. That's exactly what I have a problem with. And because you can't now say it out loud because there are real victims out there.
Yeah.
You now seem as if you're now being very defensive, and you're trying to protect, those, rapists.
Predators. Yeah.
So now it's a very, very sensitive topic, if I might say, because it's neither here or there. It's for them, they can rally up as ladies and say, this is bad. But for men to come and do that, because we are the victim, we are the people that are being told we are the rapists. So we can't also come and support someone that we don't know the fact. Maybe the guy did it, maybe he didn't.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Okay, fair enough. I hear what you guys are saying, but also like there's been a lot of outcry that you can't. This is where the shaming is coming from. You can't. People will then hide out because they don't want to be said that they were lying. Because of the culture, if someone comes out and they say, okay, I've been raped, you're like, were you really raped? When you start shaming the victim, because of that, people are saying, no, you can't come out and shame the victim. If someone says they've been raped, they have been raped, take it as that. it's you can't have that gray area where you're saying, were you really raped? Tell us the truth. Like that is not, you know, you can't do that. And I agree with that to a very large extent, because that's the reason why a lot of people aren't coming out and speaking that they have been raped. Because if you bear in mind, only 5% of people, I'm going into stats now, only 5% of people who report rape cases have actually not been raped. 5% is small. Yes, it's smaller than 95, but it's still there. This is why I'm looking at both sides, where it's not fair on those 5% of men who haven't done anything but are being accused of it. Because, like we always say, some women are actually trash, right? And they will do, and men are trash, yeah, fine, but women can also be trash. And we've said this before. So that 5% of trash is going to cause problems with the 95% who are actually real victims of men are trash. Do you get what I'm saying? So it creates that little tug and pull, and I don't want to say anything because I don't know the facts.
But yeah? my thinking, Matty, as well is then, so where do we draw the line?
Exactly. That's important.
Do we draw the line and say, okay, now I'm going to speak up, or now I'm not going to speak up, right? Because I feel like as well, like in as much as they are actual real victims, I also want to speak up and say, look, man, this is crazy. Y'all can't do this, man. Don't do that. Don't rape no people, whatever. Be it female or male, do not rape anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I also want to speak up, right? But then again, with social media, it has become a tool for abuse already, right? The moment I speak up like that, whether I'm supportive or non-supportive, whichever case was gender in that scenario, it's going to turn out and I'm going to get backlash either way. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, whatever line we end up even drawing, right? Whatever line we even consider to draw in this situation, you're just going to have to face the backlash from the other side, right? So maybe the major aspect that I really wanted to point out here is that it's difficult, Batsy, to actually have that. It's difficult to say, I'm going to speak out Pakati or I'm going to speak out Pakati, right? Like, you just can't. You can't pick. You can't pick. You have to pick your battles, right? Like, you got to pick your battles sometimes. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. I get you. So my question now is, okay, so how are we supposed to react? As men, what are we supposed to be doing? Are we supposed to be in the Twitter streets saying it's wrong? Are we? Is that an expectation? Is it realistic? Or what is the proper way to react? I'm not talking about an actual rape case. Someone comes and tells you, like, I'm not there yet. I'm talking about in terms of supporting, in terms of being in tune, in terms of talking about these things. How are we supposed to react to what's going on right now? What do we, if we can't speak on Twitter, if we can't speak on Facebook, if we can't share it as much, because I've got a niece, how do I protect her? How do I talk about it? Am I even, because there have been cases where it's like, protect the girl, no, teach the child. What am I supposed to do? That's what I'm asking.
The man protect the girl.
Yes. So what am I supposed to do? Do I tell my nephew not to be a predator? Do I tell my niece to stay away from the club, or what do I do? How do I?
I know of a solution.
Yeah, give us solutions. What do we do?
First of all, going to Twitter and doing the whole keyboard warrior with those people is just setting yourself for failure. Us as guys, just educating ourselves about what's actually happening right now. Is very important. Just to know that the moment you sleep with someone and you think maybe you have marinated them, there might be danger to it. So educating that part is what we need to do. We can't right those wrongs already. That has been done. The girl child. I've never seen, well, depending on the news I've heard, of skana anenge aenda ega kupati anenge azviendesera doro rake ega iye unozvimwira doro rake obva atakwa mboko nedoro rake. I've never really heard of that, it's normally because the alcohol was bought by someone and then the guys are doing this. So I want to normalize the whole thing of the girl child protecting themselves in that kind of cave with hyenas. If you get drunk to that point, sometimes it's not good, but then you also need to protect you also need to prevent that from also happening because of what's happening right now. A girl that might be hearing this is probably invited to a party that that might turn out like that. So it's all about protecting them too.
But you see now the problem with that is
Exactly.
just because kune predator. No, my point is just because it's almost like you're saying we should kune predator, so prepare for the ugenda ku wilderness and tisu ma wilderness otherwise ugenda wilderness, so therefore don't get drunk.
I'm saying do not protect yourself with the way that you carry yourself, with the way that you're drinking, because it's not that they're hyenas and stuff. Men are people and they've got feelings. Sometimes you as a person will end up doing something you don't remember tomorrow. Yeah. That's the thing.
Okay. I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying, Kuti. I think there should be a middle ground, like where it's not just a man's problem to fix. It's not just a girl's problem to fix. Like I can't stand up and say kuti mukadzi anofana kusa like so ngasa fake skirt. It's almost like ngasa fake short skirt. Do you get what I'm saying? It shouldn't be like that. It should be, we should have as dudes, one Adam even was not fake at all, but Adam my point is, like, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that where a nigga is like chilling there like, oh snap, she's wearing a skirt, so therefore I could not control myself and I must rape it. It should that
exactly.
But at the same time,
we are talking about alcohol here, though. There's now alcohol involved, so prevention on both sides is very, very important. Not preventing kutumwa, but that's what I'm saying. On both sides.
Culture.
On both that culture, yekuti talk to dakwamboko and whatever that today sound like we're gonna like that's what that culture is the one that then breeds all these stories. If we were all gonna go into a room and everyone brings their drinks that they're gonna drink and whatever we drink and we go home, I'm sure we can still enjoy.
But if we're just doing responsibly.
If we're just doing it responsibly, But then, like, all of us are guilty. I'm also guilty at some point. We're young and we're chilling and whatever. But then that culture is what I'm talking about. That culture.
Dutch, you have something to say?
Is it also, because, I mean, when I'm trying to think of the Twitter stories that we're reading, it seemed mostly to be around the Gen Z age groups. It wasn't really much of our age groups there.
Oh no! Trust me.
There were some.
Not even some. A span of our age group were implicated. Yeah, actually.
Remember those drink ups, the proper drink ups started, that time.
No, look, what I'm saying is that obviously it's the guys who are older, but the ladies were younger. Obviously, I mean.
Okay.
But I think look, you know what I mean?
But I think it's a much why is it? How do you say it, man?
That's got this in cooler. You know what I mean? Look, all I'm saying is that when I'm saying this as the whole thing that Kuti is saying, Kuti, let's educate ourselves, right? We can, right? We can, in as much as educate ourselves, the ladies can go ahead and protect themselves. But then also remember, it's the same thing with this whole, racism thing. No matter how much we ask them to read about us, right? What is the action being taken towards that? You know what I mean? Right? So exactly. I actually like his suggestion that, firstly, be aware of who you are. Don't forget, alcohol is the inhibition, right? Inhibitions that you have for you to that stops you from doing something, right? So the moment you drink and then you decide to start twerking around, your skirt is riding up your butt, and then don't expect men not to sexualize that, because even what we see on TV, don't forget, there's so many influences where we see these things, where you see Cardi B on the TV she's doing a twerky thingy, you know what I mean? But really, it's so sexualized. right? That dance, particularly that twerking thing, is so sexualized, right?
Yeah.
So by the time we see this at a party, when I'm this, guys, I was fine. Next thing, this girl is grinding on it. Obviously, that's suggestive of what I look, something she's not gonna pick up. This I'm gonna feel on way, and sometimes I'm gonna do is a bad thing. When you go to feel on the high, and you feel on it, they will spark. So I'm not
Mm.
advocating for rape, but I'm saying Kudzi is right. The moment you are woke enough to know yourself, Kudinini, even Nemarambadoro, cannot be that type and behave like this, then know your limit for starters, right?
And
Like,
this is going both to men and women. This is not.
Both,
This is
both.
both. This is not. Yeah, yeah.
both
Some
ways,
guys
right?
wakadakwao, they'll start, being touchy feely and whatever.
Yeah,
Some
you
girls
know what I mean?
wakadakwao, sometimes they become loose. Both of
I
them
know this
tomorrow
is
morning
culture.
will wake up feeling guilty about the whole shit.
Okay.
There's this weird culture, if you ever notice this, like when you're in the club, right? And I actually found that girls consider this sort of, I don't even know what words they call it. Like, so you're in the club, and then you want to pass, and then you hold the lower waist and say, excuse me, right? And then you move us, so and then you walk past. Apparently, that's some sort of sexual assault. You know what I mean?
Okay. This is news to me.
Exactly my point. So nowadays, they're like, when it's news, like a wonder. Like, you have to adhere to so many things. So you have to be actually woke enough to know what these ladies are talking about and listen enough. In as much as ladies, you also need to listen enough to what the guys are saying. Look, you need to understand what was DL, right? We know that ignorance is a, I don't think let's
It
put
is
it
not defense. Ignorance is not defense.
it's not a defense. But Chicho Batsirega, Chicho would say the best. I'm sorry, because of that. And believe me, that 95% of non-predatory men are going to act in the right way and are actually going to protect you because Tabu is what I would look back for waste your watch you move, but they was spoken at him about. Them to go on to Chicho, but don't actually not do that. So that, you know what I mean? So help us, help you, help us. We help you, help us.
Oh,
That way,
help.
help. And then that way we can try and mitigate some of these different issues that are actually arising.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I feel you. I feel you. Okay. So look, in essence, we're saying, okay, look, most men don't want to say anything because lack of knowledge, lack of knowing how to react, and the like. And then in terms of how do we, not as men, but just as a generation, as a culture, how do we change how things are done? How do we change? I think look, the naming and shaming is one thing, right? It's serving its purpose on one end, but that's one thing. How as people do we now actively change the way we do things? And this is where you're talking about your day-to-day culture changing, how we do things, how you do, but I think it goes a little bit deeper. How do we want to make effective, ultimately change the culture of how we interact as men and women to avoid these cases more so? What needs to change?
Yeah.
What needs to change? Like, yeah, okay. For where I'm coming from is that okay, I've lived through a generation where marinating was fine, but then
It was
now
normal.
it's normal. But now it's adding to the rape culture. So it's something that must be done away with. Like how in generations we moved from our parents and all the generations where a woman being hit, if you beat up your wife, it's fine because she's your child. Like that's how it was back in the day, and it was not frowned upon. But we've moved away from that generation, and the education and the knowledge has come with it. Of course, it's not 100%, but most people have moved away from that, and our generation has changed. How do we get to the point where you're marinating, you're all these sexual things? I remember in an episode, Chris, you said, these kids now need to move around with a consent letter, where if she signs, look, she consented. Like that's what I'm talking. I read somewhere that men should now have a curfew. I don't agree with it. Yeah. No, I don't agree with it, but I'm saying something. What do we do to change the culture? If we don't know, we don't know. We leave it to people to decide. But or maybe I should pose this question to everyone else. Like how do you feel as women, as men, as a society, we should act so that we can change this culture?
Yeah, I think let's put this to the crowd, right? So you see, because we all have our own opinions, and you know what they always say about opinions. their opinion.
Yeah.
And I see him with it. And I personally feel that even with considering how to end the rape culture, look, I know that today most of the examples we use today were purely on alcohol based or
Yeah.
party or those are the examples we really use. But there's some instances where we do even when invite someone kumba and you're doing Netflix and chill and then she says no, but then you still post it on her and everything like that, right? There's so many instances where rape is considered. So it's actually I think it actually starts from us guys not putting ourselves in a position where we do these things. You know what I mean? For example, as I mentioned, know your limits, but I know a lot of people say, I can still take another one, I can do another one, I can do another one. But for example, know your limits, man. Know your character. What happens with you after you drink? For example, if you know with you're aggressive, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it starts from there, that knowing yourself, right? And knowing what you're comfortable with and not comfortable with. In cases where, for example, you invite a lady over, right? You should also know to not invite her. And then my limits are say, where is she willing to go further or other women, right? Have those conversations about sex, right? It's important because so that
Communication.
you gotta even gonna actually it's only one night stand. So I know one wanna in my intention is with I say grow ongolo. Ukuda here,
What?
kulo ongolo. Kana uskuda.
Signer up.
Aiwa, unongo watomutumira unomuti ndipe email address yako womutumira kuti
Consent
sign
letter.
usati
Sign
wauya.
up. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
feel like you need to actually have that conversation because the moment you don't, you're assuming what the person wants. And usually, I feel like women sometimes, especially kana akanaenda kumba kwempesika, anenge akuchika kuti ndikati no pana padona ndase rowa
Yeah.
chamani monya is 200
Wakakuti
100
yes iwewe muri magubezi mangwana obva kutaka kuripa iwo wakamurepa.
unenge waperforma kuwa.
Yeah. I think to answer Chrissy's question, I think we spoke about power. Like in terms of assault, a man needs to know what power he has. And I say this because it's a majority, it's a generalization, it's a majority of things. Most men are stronger than most women, right? So generally, men should go into these. I think it was Irvine who said it in one of our episodes, that men should know what power they go into a certain encounter with. And I think because of what we're getting with these situations, especially at all now, someone can also say we had sex, it was consensual, but in the morning say and each other, yeah, regret or whatever the case may be. Women should also go into these encounters knowing what power they have as well, given where we are, because and with any type of power, you can't use it recklessly. So that there is no case of a victim being shamed or anything like that. Women should know what power they're coming into this with, because she has the power to convince everyone that it really happened. So I think they should know the power they have in that regard as well.
I think they actually know the power they have. That's why
they know.
it was waiting.
Yes.
They actually know the power they have because
and it
akarara
shouldn't be
na
abused.
Gilbert anenge akamurepa mangwana makuseni because vanhu havadi kuzikanwa
Gilbert nanhamo hey
Gilbert nanhamo havadi kurarwa navo vakangorarwa navo vanenge vakamurepa but akarara hake nani tishandisa zita ripi Dutch. Then it'll be fine. She can actually go and tell her friends that I actually did this. So that's what do we do?
It's a matter of knowing the power that you have and not abusing it. You can't abuse the power that you have over someone. I think that's how it is.
When you're talking about abuse of power, let's also remember that I feel like women have also, in as much as they have that certain power for the gender specifics, they also have the full strength of the law on their side. You know what I mean? The moment, hold on, let me finish. So the moment they use that power wrong, believe me, That's
But if you, I'm talking about tweets as well. But if you look at how people are talking on the Twitter streets, is that and the number of cases that are actually reported that nothing then goes further are also pretty high. I can't give you the stats, but it's also pretty high. Yeah, it doesn't go anywhere.
Our country does not have a functional situation going on.
Yeah, that's another big problem right there.
That causes all these things to then escalate that far, right?
Yeah, because the rape culture won't go anywhere because it can't be enforced. You can't. Exactly. If someone then says this happened to me, they go through the proper channels, they speak, everything, it's reported, but it then goes nowhere because the guy can just pay off or something, or even Mapurisa Acho don't even take the case any further because there's not enough evidence. Exactly. So that in itself is also a big issue.
Yeah, but then we'll pose a point, but he points still.
He points. How do you point? He point, but it's missing that lower, oomph, because not much is there. The punch capo when it comes to our law. A4 kind of beach. Yeah, but yeah, okay. So look, we can talk about this all day, different scenarios, everything. I think we share, especially on this show, how people can actually get help in any situation, so we can get rid of the stigma of actually reporting and talking about these. So if anyone, we would share some information. If anyone feels they've been in a situation that they have to report, you can always go to the Adult Rape Clinic, ARC, which is Ward C in Parainato Hospital, along Old Mazoe Road. Their number we'll put onto the screen here, 0775 672 770. I think it's important that we give a platform for people to actually report these cases and to get the help that they need, because 95% is big, but people are actually going through these things and they need the help and support, not just from individuals, but from the system as well. So there is somewhere where you can get help. ARC, Adult Rape Clinic, we'll put their details down here, and the email addresses and everything else. So yeah. So guys, look, season 4, we're back. This has been our show. We just thought would come back with something that's very relevant, right? So yeah, as usual, Chris, where can they find us? Where are we?
You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, and not Twitter, and Instagram, of course.
I didn't know that.
No. But on top of that, also, if you feel like you have a story that you want to share, that's where you can definitely reach us. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, of course, you can DM us, but mainly Facebook and Instagram, you can easily DM us. Brothers with Voices, everywhere you'll find us there, and then we can see how best we can have a conversation about what you're dealing with. But
yeah. And could you tell the people what they can expect for this new season 4?
Man, this new season, we're talking about real stories, man. Real stories. So if you have anything that that is affecting people in our society, any story that you might know of, you don't have to include names, reach out to us. We're here to talk about things that are really affecting people, real stories. But stay tuned. This is going to be a beast mode of a season.
Yeah, so guys, if there's anything out there in the socials that you want us to talk about, that you feel is something that we would be inclined to talk about, feel free to tag us in them, Brothers with Voices, on everything. Feel free to drop us an email on Brothers with Voices at brotherswithvoices263 at gmail.com. You can catch us on there. And yeah.
Or info at brotherswithvoices.
Info at brotherswithvoices.com. Yeah, just hit us up with any information, anything that you want us to talk about that you think is relevant, and we will get back to you, and we'll rap about it as well. So yeah, it's been great, guys. It's been good to be back, and we'll catch you next week on the Brothers
with Voices.